So you could be addressing a smaller problem but creating a bigger one. The way forward is to actually talk about a federation, a proper federation. Why two states? We can have 16, 20, I don't know how many states you can divide the country into, and have it. At the end of the day, if you're going to have governors elected locally in the present structure, you might as well have autonomy or states governing themselves locally.
As federalism of provinces, right?
Federalism, yeah. Exactly. A broad-based one.
It's almost more like our kind of system, Mexico,
right.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, now you've answered my question.
Okay, that's what I think.
Yeah.
But there are many people who tell you this guy is talking nonsense.
Thank you. I'm very much for that very quick historical background as well, which is really helpful. I wonder if you could comment on the difficulties of transforming I have two questions that are linked, but transforming the kind of fixed, scheduled national dialogue which has been carved out between elites with a lot of international involvement into what I would consider a more genuine, inclusive dialogue that would almost certainly, and you've mentioned this as well, but would almost certainly take a long time, but how you make that transition and actually make the national dialogue work as a real dialogue. And secondly, and I think connected, how do you see the role of Yemen's neighbours in the transition in the next year or two?
Well, the national dialogue, there has been some delay on getting it prepared, but we just had recently a presidential decree setting up a committee or outreach committee for the dialogue. But that has already provoked a lot of opposition, as you might have followed in this. So we don't know whether that will be an element to yet another delay. But the national dialogue has already created some problems with people, especially the youth, who feel left out. Rightfully so, because even if you see in the presidential decree creating the outreach, there is no representation of the youth. And this is the organization that is supposed to bring the country to the national dialogue. So in my view, we are still far away from getting the national dialogue off the ground the way it is hoped for or required. The region, they have acted, countries in the region have acted very positively towards Yemen in the recent past. I think despite what many people, especially the youth, disagree with the GCC initiative, the fact of the matter is, whatever faults it might have, it is the only deal that's on the table. And no party, Yemeni party, has presented an alternative deal that can be workable. So to criticize the only deal when you can't bring about another one is a little bit of a... The GCC countries, even Saudi Arabia, which has historically played a role that is not positive, in this case has been very helpful. I think the fact that we had the European Union and of course the United States, which is playing a very significant role in trying to bring everybody together, and had a very strong presence in this whole process, has helped. We haven't seen, in fact, if you look at the Security Council resolutions on similar other situations in the region, there has been no unanimity as much as there has been on the issue of Yemen. We didn't have any one country with a veto throwing in a veto in the Security Council. So there's been quite a lot of unanimity about the issue of Yemen. That's already a strong message that has been sent to the Yemeni parties. So to answer your question, the GCC players have been very positive in my view. And we hope Saudi Arabia especially will continue.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Munir, as well. It was a very nice presentation. I have a question regarding the military restructuring and what is being done, if anything, or what sort of are the plans to tackle the problem that a lot of these military commanders who are either sort of being reshuffled or I'm not sure where they're going, the ones who are fired or what's going on with that, but what is being done about the fact that they still have a lot of business these are the guys who benefited from the corruption of the country and sort of raping Yemen's resources throughout the past, I don't know how many years. And is anything like, for example, I'll just take as example, Muhammad Ali Marsin. He was changed from his position as the head of the Hadramaut. What is the military commander of Hadramaut? Is he still, I mean, he's very famous for benefiting from oil corruption from the Hadramaut. Is that still happening? And he's just one example, and there's many examples of this, I think, of these guys. And what is being done in terms of how to tackle that? Because they gained a lot of their power, obviously, from their ability to sort of, make use of Yemen's resources. And that is the lingering question for me.
The president initially decreed to relieve him of his command, but not to relieve him of his businesses. That requires a judicial process. You can't do it presidentially. You can't take somebody's business. So that will be a chapter that needs to be opened later by some other people. If the president tries to do that, in my view, he will be doing something, a disservice for the country. Even if we know the man is wrong and a lot of what he has is illegitimate, we will not tolerate a presidential decree on these matters. It has to go through this process. Okay? Where they are very much in the country. And they are still playing sometimes, many times, negative roles in the country. They have still influence in terms of money and weapons. So, but at the end of the day, nothing that is happening today in Yemen was not expected. We expected all this. We did not expect, after 33 years, Abu Saleh and his family to say, thank you very much, we live and happily ever after. It's not going to happen. So these are expected. These are challenges on the way. There will be problems here, fights there, bombing there. It's part of the process. At the end, we know what the result will be. They will win a few battles, but we will win the war.
Do you think there's any link between these military commanders and the armed gangs? They're sort of...
I have no evidence, but I know.
For those of us who don't follow Yemen every day, I wonder if you could walk us through the next 2 years. What you expect to see happen, where you expect to be disappointed, where you need the foreigners to help.
Right. The next 2 years, I call it the hardcore transition. We need to transit the legal system, the constitution, the laws, rebuild some of the institutions that are based on this. And here, we lack experience here, because we have never had the experience of building democratic institutions, unfortunately. So countries like the United States, like Europe, the European Union, Britain, France, and Germany and other countries, we have had a long history of democratic processes. We need a strong input from them. We also need pressure from them to bring pressure to the government and to the other players in Yemen to make sure that these things happen. So we need the help of the international community in bringing about the hardcore process of creating these new laws in the reforming the constitution. But for me, the more dangerous one, or the more important one, is the one that follows, which in my view is also a continuation of the transition. Today, in 2 years, we are transiting the legal constitutional process of the country. But after that, we will need to transit the country itself into the new Yemen that we want. And that's not going to take 2 years. It's going to take a long time and a lot of hard work. You have to change the mindset. You have to bring about a different bureaucracy, a different mindset in the security apparatus, in the military, in the financial apparatus of how the country is managed. It's going to take a lot of doing, and here also we will need training, and PILPG has been quite helpful in offering us assistance in this area. And we will need also a lot of political pressure to make sure that this process continues. If we fail, then this thing will not just blow up on our faces, it will blow up on the faces of many people outside Yemen. So we have to succeed.
What about the milestones for the next 2 years?
The milestones of the GCC implementation plan until now have not been precisely followed. But more important than the milestones is the achievement of what we do when we do it. For instance, the creation of the dialogue committee itself took time. It should have been done a long time ago. And the creation of many other institutions. The president has been very busy with the military affairs, looking at the military.